I'm Jason Lukasik, Assistant Professor of Education at Augsburg University.
And what brought you to the river, Jason?
Well, I've been interested in eco-justice education for quite some time. Any opportunity when you live in an urban area to get out on the water is a good opportunity. So when Joe had talked about this conference and that we could paddle during the conference, I thought that was a really good opportunity.
What were the other questions?
What are you thinking about now? It seemed like that was kind of open-ended, right?
Really open-ended, like
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
So, societal, political, cultural.
Yeah. Do we need to get away from that? Is that sound going to be? That's not going to be. Okay, good. Well, I mean, I've certainly been thinking about the election. I'm looking forward to getting beyond the election, hopefully. In part because I've been really focused on climate change and the fires out west. We've had kind of a crazy start to fall. That might just be weather, but certainly wanting to focus a bit more on environmental issues. And I feel like the election has been quite the distraction. The entire Trump administration has been a distraction from things that matter.
Say what brings you to the trip. Mm-hmm. What are your expectations or questions about our upcoming paddle?
Well, I haven't spent much time at all on the Mississippi. So I'm a Mississippi novice. So I'm looking forward to, in particular, seeing what the river looks like in densely populated areas. Because I grew up in Chicago, and so I'm used to seeking out nature amidst a lot of density, pollution, both noise and material. So I'm really kind of curious to see what the river looks like. I mean, right here we're in the middle of a dense area, but once you get a little bit away from the road, it's amazing how peaceful it can be, and you just hear the water, occasional traffic or an airplane taking off. But I'm really curious to get out and see what the river looks like as we float downstream a bit.
And you can stop paddling now. We'll start floating back.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get out of this. What is your relationship to the Mississippi River?
So when we're not in a pandemic, I do cross the river daily to get to work, and I always appreciate being able to cross over and look down into the gorge. But I also don't live too far from the river, so I'm generally thinking about how whatever we do at our house, water that falls in the form of rain, how it will end up in the river. So thinking about how I'm connected to the river directly, just living nearby. But I do see the river regularly. Try to hike it occasionally. Just fortunate to not live far from it. So that's my new connection to the Mississippi.
And how does that shape your practice as a professor?
Well, I haven't done much directly with the river yet in classes, but I've developed a new course called Education in the Ecological Crisis. So we're going to be likely doing some stuff by the river in the spring. That's the plan, at least. In general, just making sure that we're thinking about ecological mindedness in the field of education, which is often left out. That's often not on the minds of teachers, unfortunately. So trying to bring that into teacher education is one of the things I'm most concerned about, and I think this experience will hopefully will help me think about how you can take experience and help develop a land ethic in whatever practice you end up pursuing.
just for shits and giggles for me,
Yeah.
what does ecological mindedness look like in education?
So I like to think about it as a somewhat metaphorical, somewhat substantive. Thinking about the interdependence, interconnectedness of knowledge and all living things. So recognizing that anytime anything occurs, be it personal relationships in a classroom, students getting along, not getting along, that has a ripple effect. So treating a classroom as an ecosystem, but also thinking about how we connect our work in the classroom to the world outside, not making it something that occurs in a vacuum. And the best way to do that is actually to be outside and not just be locked in, caged by four walls in a traditional classroom. So I guess that's how I'd say ecological mindedness. Thinking about